Do you guys want to know why Jason Hawes is involved other than just connection with his daughter, Satori?
I would like to know.
Of course
Yeah,
you do.
You really do.
Why?
It's because he tried to assassinate her.
Yeah.
What a cheeky fucker.
What?
Yeah, you know, Jason Hawes of Taps and Ghost Hunter fame tried to assassinate Jacqueline Nunez.
He did.
Huh.
He
I'm sorry if I'm swearing
drove
so much, guys.
he drove all the way out there just
Mhm.
to assassinate her.
Mm-hmm.
Is this
Except
something
it-
a ghost told her? Or
No, she saw it on security cams.
oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
There is
That's
footage.
interesting.
The Late Night Legends podcast is meant for a mature audience. Topics covered may be violent or sexual in nature and are not suitable for sensitive listeners. Please be aware of your surroundings. For specific trigger warnings, please see the episode's show notes. Testimony shared by guests of this show are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Late Night Legends hosts or staff. This podcast and any linked materials should not be considered medical or professional advice, nor is the information a substitute for the expertise or treatment from a professional. Listener discretion is advised.
We walked arm in arm, but I didn't feel his touch. The desire I'd first tried to hide, that tingling inside, was gone. And when he asked me, "Do you still love me?" I had to look away. I didn't want to tell him that my heart grows colder with each day. When you love so long that the thrill is gone, and your kisses at night are replaced with tears, and when your dreams are on a train to a train wreck town, then I ask you now, what's it got to do?
Well, old chaps, crikey. Here we are, Late Night Legends streaming live on the Twitter. All right, hello, welcome to Late Night Legends.
And I didn't want
My name is Francis Barrientos, United States of America. But tonight we're streaming live on the Twitter. If you don't have tea, go ahead and grab your bottle
the times we shared.
and we'll all talk about some gossip. If you'd like to listen to us live, you can listen to us live on YouTube, X, Twitter, or Facebook, I think. Are we live on Facebook still?
Yes.
Okay, on Facebook. And I'm here with my co-hosts Colin, Maria, Joan, Imberly, and Tim.
Frank is the United Nations of accents with all of our names.
Blimey. I strive for about 60%. Not a percent over 60.
Frank, have you ever met someone with a British accent?
No.
Oh.
No, I have not.
That explains
Not in real life.
so much, actually.
Send out a bunch of pork pies, apples and pears. Crimbo diddlin', can we get started?
Okay, I thought you were doing. I'm just gonna go. So, welcome. You have been cordially invited to, as we mentioned before, our tea party, where we are going to be spilling hot tea, and we're calling this Ghost and Gossip. Before we get into that, we do have a few announcements. One, this is our last live show for this year. So congratulations to everybody who's been joining us throughout this whole time. We really appreciate it. We are not going to leave you, though. Do not worry. We would never leave you with your family alone on the holidays, because that would be awful and it would be not responsible of us at all. So we will be having pre-recorded shows go out every week of December, where we're going to be talking about our home for the holiday topics and just giving you little pieces that remind us of home and maybe remind you of us. So that is our holiday topics. And then in January, we're going to be starting with special guests. And I don't know too much besides that. I don't think we've planned too far ahead. But we're going to be enjoying our break, and we hope that you enjoy, having your holidays as well. So
While you're cracking a Julie watching our pre-recordings, we're going to be at home giving ourselves a J. Arthur.
No, we're not. Don't say that. So anyway, HR is also in England. That being said,
I've got HR on me tea kettle. My
yes,
teacup.
that is one of the HR. That is
This
Harrison,
is HR.
our
Take a
representative. We swear there is just tea in our cups, as far as we all know. Frank, we're a little concerned about. So that being said, we're this is actually a co-hosted tea party. So I'm going to hand it over to the main host. I am more of a humble servant of giving delicious tidbits to our friends. Think of me as the wait staff, and just I'm passing out hors d'oeuvres and finger sandwiches.
Right.
On serviettes instead of napkins, there's serviettes.
Maybe aperitifs later. Who knows? So yes, Kay, would you like to tell everyone what our topic is tonight?
I would love to. I am very excited about this. We are going to be gossiping tonight about the Conjuring House, but not about the movie, not about the Warrens, about events that have been happening in real life, mainly this year. There's been a lot that has happened at this house this year, especially recently, like within the last month.
Yeah.
So, yes, I will start out by giving you a little bit of a background on the house.
But
This is
before we go into that, just because I liked your little warning that you wrote.
That's actually extremely important. Thank you for
Yes.
bringing that up, Joan.
No problem.
I'm going to say this very, very strongly, that everything that we're going to say tonight is alleged. This was allegedly said, allegedly done, and everything we say tonight is for entertainment purposes only. Allegedly.
No, that part is very real. It's only entertainment.
Kimberly will
Yes.
be telling pork pies.
No, she won't.
Bias?
Joan will be
Allegedly.
6s and 7s.
Sure.
And if anybody's seen the show Letterkenny, that sentence was a lot funnier than you thought it was.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
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 So,
about
should I talk
That's
about
what
that?
I appreciate about you, Colin.
Oh, is that what you appreciate about me?
Hey, take it down 10% there, Squirrely Frank.
Is that what you
Your
like
10
about
pie.
me? I will also say that we do recognize that everyone we're talking about are real people. And though we don't usually tend to go into gossip, I feel like we do need to say this like we're a commentary channel. Please do not go and talk to or harass or say anything to anybody that we mention tonight.
And if you do, don't tell us about it.
No, just don't do it.
Don't do it.
You're not
that's the easy
cool.
way.
And you won't get points with us. You'll get less points. We'll hate you.
Yeah.
All of us. Maria especially will hate you. Look at her.
She looks like she's full of hate.
Frank!
I'm just kidding, Maria. I'm just kidding.
Damn!
Wow.
No denial, though.
Just let everyone know that's how fast we will turn on you. Do you see how fast we turned on Frank? Okay, let's get into this.
Okay, here we go. So, a little bit about the house. So, it was originally a 1,000 acre plot that was deeded in 1680. It was then split off piece by piece. And the house that we are speaking about tonight was actually completed in 1736, which is really old. How old? 40 years older than the Declaration of Independence old. It's a very, very old house. One family alone, the Arnold family, had 8 generations live and die in the house. Very old home. So where all this drama started, in 2022, a lady by the name of Jacqueline Nunez purchased it for $1.5 million. And we'll kind of get into a little bit of how she came to own this home, because that was a little interesting as well.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We have Doug in the chat that is telling, I'll edit this out. Doug in the chat is telling us, get that paranormal smut off of the Super Bowls channel.
You would be so lucky if it was paranormal smut, and that will be an episode because it is. Oh my gosh! If you've
Doug
ever
is a
read
tosser.
paranormal smut, it is so. Je ne sais quoi.
Doug, you're a dental flosser.
Oh, great heavens! Clutching my pearls.
Clutching my pearls.
Okay. Yeah. So every family that has lived in this home has experienced paranormal events, except for one. A lot of what really started a lot of the energy in the home is there were quite a few deaths in the late 1800s, early 1900s, but the stories around who really died and when kind of differ. I didn't find anything like concrete about who, but the rumors are that there was a death of 2 children and their mother from typhus. A lady hung herself. An 11-year-old declined a proposal of marriage from a 22-year-old, and he was very upset and took care of the situation. Another suicide by injecting insecticide, and multiple deaths from cold exposure in the barn.
That
So-
one is the least surprising of all of them.
Mom was quite mental.
No, put that back.
The only family that did not experience anything was, so you have Jacqueline Nunez, and then before her, you have Corey and Jennifer, and then the family before that lived there in between the parents and Corey and Jennifer for many years, and they didn't experience anything at all.
The parents, just to be clear, was the family that experienced what was in the Conjuring movies, or like that's who it's based on.
So it's really interesting that you had one family that experienced so much that a very famous movie was made off of it, hands it directly to this other family that lives there for many years that didn't experience anything, and then they hand it off to everybody else having experiences. It's
My
kind of it.
word.
The ghost got it out of their system. We get it.
They did. They
They
did.
just got it out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, do you want me to talk about how she came into possession of the home, or do you want to kind of talk about some of the another person that was rumored very early on? I'm talking about the mean bad person from the movie.
Yeah,
that-
let's talk about her just quickly, just to clear some things
Yes.
up before we
Tell
go
us
into
about the
that.
skin
Yes.
and blister.
No, don't call her that. Put that back. Oh, do you want me to say?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the big bad in the Conjuring movies is this woman named Bathsheba Sherman. And she was claimed by Lorraine Warren to have gone and killed children and was seen as a witch. And she's the reason this house is cursed. The thing is, Bathsheba Sherman was a real person. There is absolutely no records of, one, her even living on the Conjuring House. She lived like a couple miles down the road. And the second thing is that she was not recorded to kill children at all. So this awful crime was assumed. Her being a real person, she had a gravestone that was demolished and destroyed by people who believed this story about her. And I will say, as of recently, the gravestone has been replicated and replaced for her. And part of that, and this is just a little tie-in, a little taste for later, is thankfully to our guest who will be coming on in January, Stevie, from the podcast Truth or Demons. And she talks strictly about, well, not strictly, she talks a lot about the Warrens and their infamy and, you know, their fame as well. And more just the real story, not the Hollywood one being told. So we are looking very much forward to January, where we're going to have Stevie on.
Yeah, so poor Bathsheba got a really bad name,
Mhm.
and she was just a lady trying to live her life. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Miss Jacqueline. So how did she come to own the home? Well, the owners at the time, Corey and Jennifer, they had owned the home for a few years. They had experiences, and they were just kind of ready to live somewhere else. It was very emotionally draining, trying to run the business and living in the house with everything going on in the house. They're like, we just want to go ahead and sell this. They put it up on the market. Jacqueline sees it, and she has to have it. She wants this house so bad. She says it feels like she was destined to have this house. She was meant to have this house. So they kind of connect. They sign this little document saying that they're going to sell it to each other. They enter into a little bit of an agreement. And then before they sit down with her to sign the final documentation, they decide, okay, actually, we don't want to do this. We want to back out. They let her know that they want to sever that agreement that they had earlier, which their attorneys and their real estate agents let them know they were well within their right to do. But Jacqueline was not having it. So what does she do? She files a lawsuit for breach of contract and puts a lien on the property. So the owners, they have the ability to go to court and fight this, and they would have won. They were within their rights to sever that contract, but they would have had to pay attorney fees and court costs until it reached a decision, which would have been very costly for them. And they were warned that she had the ability to drag this out, and they were looking at potentially up to 5 years that this could keep going on. So they decide, we don't want to do this. They decide to sit down with her. And when they talk with her, they see how passionate she is for this house. They actually really like her, at least the wife, Jennifer, does, and they agree to sell it. So they sell her the house. They agree to continue working on the property as her employees, and everything is fine and dandy in the world at that point.
That is until about a year ago. So after the popularization of the 2013 movie, The Conjuring, people wanted to tour the place and also, do ghost hunting there. Because who wouldn't? Now come in Sam and Kobe, who, if you don't know, are very popular ghost hunters on YouTube. They are so popular that they did a Hell Week at the Conjuring House and spent 5 nights there. And their views were upwards of like 10 million views for each of the videos. So popular that 168 theaters in America played their episodes, like their YouTube episodes on the theater. And people like went and bought these. So during this time period, or during their Hell Week, they meet with Satori Hawes and Cody Desbins. So, little bit about Satori and Cody. Satori is the daughter of Jason Hawes. Jason Hawes is the lead investigator of Ghost Hunters, the worker of the Atlantic Paranormal Society, known as TAPS. And it was founded by Jason Hawes. As I said, Satori is his daughter, and Cody is her fiance. There we go. So Satori and Cody in this Conjuring thing showed that they have this ability that they've developed, where when they hold hands together, they are able to connect to the spirit realm. And they hold hands and they'll ask a question, and Satori will start to go through the alphabet slowly, and there'll be a knocking sound on the letter that they're supposed to stop at in the alphabet, and they'll spell out words that way. Now, I hear you. I hear some of you going, wait, Joan, you've said stuff like this before. you did this episode already. I have not done this episode already. I did do an episode about the Fox sisters, which I will say that I did it around the time this drama was coming out, or like a little bit after, because I was very inspired by that. So they have come under scrutiny for possibly faking this. So a lot of eyes were on the Conjuring House because of the famous movie and the possibly infamous story of Satori and Cody faking their way of talking to ghosts.
Satori, she's the raspberry tot that saw the boat race in the loo.
Okay, does anyone else besides Frank want to say anything?
Really supposed to Frank.
It's all gone wrong. This faking of this ghost, it's all gone tits up.
Okay.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
did you have more to say, Joan?
I was just going to say, so this enters in our characters of Satori, Cody, and Jason Hawes.
And Jason Hawes.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that Jacqueline kept Cody and Satori working at the house was she threatened that if they did not work for her and put on these little shows for people, that she would expose them as fake. Yeah. Why would they want to leave, you ask?
Why? Why would they
Yeah.
want to do that?
Well, they weren't getting paid.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Good reason.
Most of the time. Yeah. Yep.
She would pay employees through online apps, and they constantly had to ask about missing funds, and yeah, it was just bad. Cody and Satori actually had more skin in the game too, because they had been trying to, in partnership with her, set up a museum of sorts in the barn. And when it was almost complete, it burned down. Why did it burn down? Well, if you take a tour at the Conjuring House, they might tell you it was spiritual. But it was not spiritual. There was somebody who was staining inside the barn, and they took their stain-filled rags and tossed them in a bag and tossed it inside. And unfortunately, if you work enough with stain and things like that, you know that that's a big no-no, because
Yeah.
it will combust
Awesome.
and burn down your barn.
Yeah, and you might be like, wow, that was really irresponsible. Who would have hired someone like that? And that's a question to this day, because Jacqueline says that Cody and Satori hired the painter, and Cody and Satori said they don't know who hired the painter, but it was not them.
Rather.
They claim that Jacqueline hired him, and he claims that the direction came from Jacqueline because it was actually Steve from Taps.
Steve from Taps.
Steve from Taps.
Every time.
Yes, and he is very apologetic. He did not know. He had no idea. He wasn't a contractor. He was just doing odds and end jobs around the grounds. With Jacqueline intended to hire him full time, and she gave approval for him to do some stuff in the barn. But she says she didn't get the approval. Cody and Satori did, and they point back at her.
Which, by the way, complete side story, through this research, I did learn that Jason Hawes is still, in fact, a plumber. He just does only like router routing or whatever that is, like only that thing. But he's still technically a plumber.
Yep.
He fixed two odds and she showed her end. What a bunch
Okay.
of bollocks.
That wasn't English. What you said, not British English, not American English, not English.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, that's where some of this other drama comes in. Is Jacqueline told Cody and Satori that she was going to file a claim with the insurance and was going to pay them back for their personal belongings and items that were inside the barn. So they give her a whole itemized list, tell her everything that they lost, and they hear nothing. And they hear nothing. And finally, Satori reaches out to Jacqueline and says, hey, can I get reimbursed for this? And Jacqueline tells her, well, I thought I was going to get back more for the barn than I did. I didn't get enough back to even cover the barn, and I was not given any money for the items in the barn. Those weren't covered. So you're not getting any money, and you're also the one that hired the contractor, so it's your fault, kind of thing.
Wow.
Which
It's not very cash money.
Yeah.
some insurance policies only cover the building, but you would be really smart to have an insurance policy that also covers what's in the building.
It sounds like she didn't read about her insurance policy like someone we know.
Especially
If she's willing to go to
since-
court with their agreement, then
I
she
think
should
Kay
go to
caught
court
what I was
against
trying
the
to say
insurance
there.
company.
Well,
Make sure you read your insurance policy, everybody.
no, I know what he's doing.
Understand your coverage.
No, Frank, put that down.
Oh.
Anyway, it's also pretty bad because of the fact that I don't know if you mentioned this, but they were trying to open like a haunted artifacts museum. I don't think any of the artifacts got affected, but they could have been. And yeah, I would buy insurance on those things. Just in general. I'm not saying who should buy insurance, but someone definitely should buy insurance on those.
Yeah. It's just a lot of mistakes happening.
Yeah. So if we keep going in a timeline fashion, Cody and Satori did end up no longer working with Jacqueline Nunez and the Conjuring House. And you would believe that was because they got fired, if you were listening to Jacqueline, who made a Facebook post that had some comments such as, quote, some members of the paranormal community and government officials, unquote. That was part of it. She said they were attacking the Conjuring House. Some of other fun phrases were, quote, I will never be defeated or destroyed. She says that a lot, actually.
She does.
And
Sounds
she
like
called...
an anime villain.
Oh, So funny, sorry. Side note, funny story. I walked in from a class and I heard my husband watching something and the line was, now things are starting to get interesting. And I literally yelled up the stairs. Couldn't see what he was watching. I yelled up the stairs. I'm like, what bullshit anime are you watching right now? Because it was the most bullshit anime line I've ever heard in my life. Anyway, back to Jacqueline Nunez. She was calling people evil, like a lot of evil and like my enemy and stuff like that. So in the same post, she talked about firing the first round of staff. And this included Cody and Satori, as well as, I said 4 other employees, but I think in total there was, it was 4 other employees.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So Jason Hawes did a live stream with all of the 7 fired people. There were 7 fired people in all, as well as the 2 previous owners of the Conjuring House. Turns out they weren't fired. Everyone resigned on April 26th, and it would have been effective May 3rd. Satori read out to the group the resignation email. Some reasons they highlighted for leaving were mismanagement and staff being paid late or just not at all.
Mm-hmm.
They just didn't pay staff at all. And then Satori received a text message from Jacqueline Nunez stating the ghosts were telling her Satori was speaking poorly.
It sounds
Like
me to
about
me.
Jacqueline Nunez. So I'm just going to say that again. The ghost told Jacqueline Nunez that Satori was speaking poorly about her.
And that wasn't the only thing that the ghosts were telling Jacqueline,
Yeah.
because another person was fired, and he actually was fired.
He was fired.
He was, because he had stolen from her $3,000. And how does she know that? Because John Arnold told her. And who is
Yeah.
John Arnold?
Yeah, quick question. Who's John Arnold? Does anyone remember? We did mention an Arnold before. Does anyone remember? Class?
Nope.
It's okay.
One of the original owners of the house.
Original.
Like,
He's getting up there in age.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Can't trust his memory anymore.
Hmm.
He's
Yep.
all 6s and 7s.
So the ghosties are telling her things,
Yeah.
and they're starting to tell her a lot of things at this point.
I did write in our notes to Kay, because Kay and I are sharing a document. I highlighted John Arnold's name and I went, Arnold's a snitch. So John Arnold said, John Arnold did say that Brian's the name of the employee, stole $3,000 from the merch room cash register. And like it, from the way that he's saying it, sounded like it was all at once, not like little bits. One, there is a videotape that they could have checked and she just didn't. She's like, no, the ghost told me, so I'm believing them. And Brian was also saying most people pay with credit card. They don't have $3,000 in cash in the register. John Arnold also claimed that Brian and other employees were psychically attacking Jacqueline Nunez. Brian also claimed in an interview he was getting paid through Venmo, which we'll talk about that later too a little bit. Just a little bit over $5 an hour.
Very dodgy.
I want to remind you, Rhode Island's minimum wage is $14 an hour. And he's getting paid a little over $5. And then finally, Brian made a GoFundMe and Jacqueline Nunez said, nah, not without me.
What a tosser.
And wrote in a comment saying, quote, BTW, voices in one's head is called mediumistic skills. You're pathetic and it underscores that I made the right decision because John Arnold has told me of other people doing unethical things, but yours was by far the most egregious.
What a fucking Muppet.
Oh, gosh. Okay. So you have Venmo
Yeah, Venmo.
and PayPal.
By the way, guys, if you're getting paid by Venmo only and they're not taking out any money for the state or whatever, they're not doing it right. So don't get paid through Venmo. But go on.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
trick is to not pay your employees. Pro tip.
That's the easy way.
Thanks, Jacqueline Nunez.
Payment experience.
Also,
Yeah.
your microphone is a payment.
So they resign. Jacqueline tries to say that they're fired. They post, we weren't fired, we resigned, and here's proof. Jacqueline starts texting them and is like, hey, please come back. I actually really want you guys back. But none of them reply, so then she gets PO'd. She starts sending some really nasty text messages, which we'll get into a little bit later. And they decide, we don't want to hear from you anymore. They start blocking her. They start filing for no contact orders because of some of the content in these messages. So how are you supposed to get your message across if you've been blocked? But PayPal allows you to add a little note whenever you send money. So she starts sending microtransactions anywhere from 3 cents to $15. So
like she's playing Candy Crush.
So here's a couple screenshots that I saw. One was 3 cents. You have blood on your hands, don't you?
Microaggressions to go with the microtransactions.
Yeah.
And these are from Jacqueline to Satori.
Mhm.
Another one, $5. F you. You have failed your life's mission.
It was we're far enough into the show we can curse. She says fuck you like
Yeah.
a lot.
Okay, yeah, she does.
Anybody watching the show, please put your favorite microaggression in the comments.
No, no,
Yes.
absolutely not.
Do it.
Right.
Absolutely not. I'm already
We'll be reading those live
Said about the
New
comments.
Year's episode.
Like a mean tweets thing.
Your favorite microaggression, everybody. I'm kidding, Joan. I'm kidding.
Frank will say him in a British accent.
I will.
no, just become an aggression.
Gosh.
I'm
I
sorry.
think it's called a colony if you read it in that accent.
We if we have time later, we will read some of the snippets from text messages,
please.
and they're very interesting. But all of these little messages that she's sending, it's not from her personal PayPal account. No, she's doing it from her LLC's account.
She's sending them £3 and a microaggression.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't read the best one. You missed it.
Oh, okay.
The last $5.
The last $5 ones. Do you guys want me to say F you for the children or just read it?
Only for the children, though.
You know
Okay.
you don't use that word, so.
My mother listens to this podcast, Frank. Anyway,
Oh.
she says F you. You're going to prison, I hope.
Plus, it's like, I hope. I don't know. I hope.
If I have anything to do with it, you're going, buddy.
Everything works out, right?
Are you serious? Is she just taking a piss?
Oh, she's serious.
She's serious. So as I mentioned before, she does say "f you" a lot.
Does.
At some point in time, she switches to saying, I'm sorry, Kay's mom. She says, "Fuck you." Strong letter to follow, like as if it's to end a sentence every fucking time.
This is one that I will read later. And you know
Okay.
what? Mom, I'm just going to apologize if you're listening. Mom, I'm so sorry. Maybe
It's
turn
not
it
her.
off.
It's Jacqueline Nunez.
It's
not
Jacqueline
her.
Nunez.
It's journalism at this point.
It
You're
is.
just reading it accurately.
She is going back and forth with Jason Hawes. He is showing this in a video and scrolling through it. And she says something in every single text message. She ends with "fuck you," strong letter to follow. And then he says something back. She writes back, same thing at the end, after every single text message. And he's like, "Where's the strongly worded letter, Jacqueline?"
You've lost the plot.
She made up a plot. She didn't even lose it. She just came up with a new plot.
Yeah.
And we're here for it, Jacqueline.
We
We're
are.
here for the plot.
Jacqueline's throwing a wobbly.
Do you guys want to know why Jason Hawes is involved other than just connection with his daughter, Satori?
I would like to know.
Of course
Yeah,
we do.
You
It's-
really do.
Why?
It's because he tried to assassinate her.
Yeah.
What a cheeky fucker.
What?
Yeah, you know, Jason Hawes of Taps and Ghost Hunter fame tried to assassinate Jacqueline Nunez.
He did.
Huh.
He
I'm sorry if I'm swearing
drove
so much, guys.
he drove all the way out there just
Mhm.
to assassinate her.
Mm-hmm.
Is this
Except
something
it-
a ghost told her? Or
No, she saw it on security cams.
oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
There is
That's
footage.
crazy.
There is footage, but it wasn't him.
No.
Actually, another guy came out and said, "That was me. Here's a picture of my truck matching the truck in there. And here is a copy of my reservation for the night. It was me."
I'm
Also-
the proper murderer.
Also, he was like, ma'am, don't you remember letting me in? Because you
Yeah.
opened the gate for me and let me in.
Well, that's a murder weapon, isn't it?
And then Jacqueline Nunez is like, no, it's not him. The AI says it was Jason Hawes. And we're like, what AI? What? She's like, the facial
What?
recognition AI.
What?
Yeah, the facial recognition AI. And the guy was like, nope, definitely me. It was me. And I did not try to kill you. No one did.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of like visiting, do we want to talk about the other visiting drama that there is involved in the Conjuring House?
Do you want to talk about it, Joan?
Why don't you talk about the guest experience and then I'll go into the rules.
The guest experience. There's
The
a
one
lot
star the 1-star review one.
Oh,
Yeah. Actually,
The
let me go into the rules first, and then you can listen
Okay.
to this guest experience. Okay. So first off, let's start by saying that like the Conjuring House came under scrutiny about a year ago because it was like said that it costs about $1,500 per group to spend a night investigating. This was back in July. So you would have to spend $1,500 to spend a night to investigate. From what I understand, because I do not ghost hunt, that's very expensive. Here are some rules that you would have to agree to investigate. So from their online rules, so from their website, it says no seances or crossing over of spirits allowed. That makes sense. That's our merchandise.
Yeah.
No sexual activity. Okay, cool.
Deal breaker.
Or making out.
$1,500. Damn.
No making out.
$1,500. I'm gonna be naked the whole time.
Ew. I don't understand the no making out rule. Maybe the ghosts just don't like it. Or
Anything
maybe
over $1,000 to
makes
take
them
off my
jealous.
knickers.
I like to think it's because
Yeah, for sure.
I just assume they have security cameras in the house, and Jacqueline is like, I don't want to see you making out with each other. I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see that gypsy's kiss, huh? Right?
That's a slur. Don't say
Rather.
that. Yeah. Do not steal anything from the interior or exterior. Trust us on this. I don't know why we had to trust her on that, but okay. Yeah, don't steal, guys. Do not use the fireplace. Do not light any candles. These are all fair. It's an old building. It will burn down. We know it will burn down. We have proof.
Yeah.
Do not get under the bedding, sleep, or sit on top of sheets only. That seems pretty standard and fair, I understand. Notify staff if you get locked out. The ghosts don't need keys. I don't understand what that means.
No.
I get the first part of the sentence. The second part confuses me. From the waiver. So these are things that you could be at risk for, so you just need to be aware of them, okay? So risks include wildlife, such as snakes, coyotes, bears, foxes, squirrels, and all wildlife known and unknown, including Bigfoot and extraterrestrials.
I was about to say squatching.
Yeah. This is mentioned in the waiver that you have to sign your legal name and you are legally held to.
I understand that more than no making out.
Anytime I sign a legal agreement, I sign it as Joan Moore. I don't actually put my own name.
That is identity theft. Don't do that.
Identity theft is not a
I'm at
joke,
Target.
Frank.
I'm at Target. I do a debit card purchase. I sign Joan.
Ugh, don't. Do not, no drinking alcoholic beverages, no consumption of drugs, no cleansing or clearing of spirits, and no removal or crossing over of spirits. Those are silly, but I do get that. You don't want them to take your merchandise away. So overnight stays, this is verbatim from the website, 7 p.m. check-in, 7:15 guided tour of the house, 7:45. You are on your own for the evening, and then 8 a.m. time to go home. There is no formal checkout.
That really made me laugh. Like, here you go home. There's no formal checkout.
Get out of here.
Scat.
If you are doing social media along with it, there is a different set of rules that you also have to agree to.
If you go live on Twitter.
Let's get into that. So if you're staying overnight and making content for social media, you have to sign, as we said. You have to email them all the content at least 72 hours before posting it to gain approval before you post it online. Anything posted in violation of these rules is subject to a fine of $1,000 a day. So, no casting of spells on the house, spirits, or objects. Don't lie about anything. And no live streams over 2 hours. And then I'm also going to say, according to the YouTube channel Side Eye Guy, who is a debunking channel, he spent a night there. Stevie talked to Side Eye Guy, so we might be able to talk to. I'm just saying. Anyway, there's an additional channels to film there are $800. So if you're going to have like say Late Night Legends on there, and then another podcast wanted to join us to do an investigation, they would have to pay an additional $800 to the $1,500 we have paid. And there's a max of 2 channels filming a night. So like you can't like invite a third channel to put up content and like try to split the price a little bit. And apparently this is not the typical rule for commercial filming. As I said, I don't commercially film, so I don't know. But it is very hard for these people doing these ghost tours for social media to break even. Like they don't make that much on a YouTube video.
And it's also important to note on there that you have to get approval for everything, like Joan said, which means if Jacqueline does not like your content, she can veto all of it. And you are out $1,500 plus for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Not like that's ever happened.
Also, my question too is, she regularly did not show up for scheduled tours.
Mhm.
So if she doesn't even have the time to show up for that, you know, how long is it going to take her to approve all of your stuff? Watch all of your
Well,
stuff.
she used to have staff to do that,
She did.
but they're all gone because they weren't getting paid, and she lives an hour away.
She does. So someone actually kind of had this happen. So they left a 1-star review after booking in October for an overnight investigation. They're there, they're getting going. A couple things happen here and there with drama, moving cars and whatnot. But eventually Jacqueline shows up and she just tells them, I don't think you have good intentions.
Oh.
And the investigator is kind of caught off guard. They're like, no, it's fine. I don't have any bad intentions. We're just here to investigate. She leaves. She comes back about 15 minutes and she says, no, I can tell that you don't have good intentions. You have dark energy and the spirits here can tell. Yeah, the spirits will tell her if you do not have good intentions.
Wow.
Spirits who got her back.
They
They most certainly do.
they do.
never lie.
You
Yeah,
know,
never.
y-
Never.
No, honest.
Before we get into the
Bunch of
most
diamond geezes.
the most recent stuff, Kay, because we are coming up on 45 minutes here. I just want to say, not only do the spirits have her backs, but so do the birds. The birds. She did make a post where she was filming from her yard at her house, or like her deck at her house, and she heard a bird chirping, and she was communicating with the bird. And I wrote down here, she asked the bird, one of my notes does say, I don't remember what it's in reference to, but clearly does not understand Occam's razor, so that's probably something. Anyway, asked the bird who she should be worried about next. Apparently, it told her to convince the scientists, to which I wrote, that is an awesome name for a band. I think Convince the Scientists would be a great band name. So, yeah. So the birds are also telling her things.
Yes. She has a lot of external input happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Jacqueline is never going to give up this house. She said she's never going to give up this house. People are trying to figure out any way possible to take it from her. And now the government is coming after her.
Uh-oh.
Why? Well, she did not carry workers' comp insurance. So they said, shut that down until you get that figured out.
And she said Jason Arnold said that I didn't need that, which that is
That's not a
untrue.
good defense.
That holds up in court, though. It holds up in court.
That was a joke. He did not say that.
But he said
Allegedly.
Allegedly?
Allegedly.
Yep. And it sounds like she ended up getting all that figured out, so we're good to go, right? Well,
Mhm.
November is the time when she has to renew her business license, her entertainment license. Mm-hmm. So she submits her application, and she also, with it, submitted a document titled Jacqueline Marie Nunez, the person who has saved all humanity. This is a 7-page document in which some things she said are, quote, I am no longer required to pay any taxes whatsoever. Being that I am the person, I am not required to provide a criminal background check. Look it up for yourself. That is normally how it works. And you will never beat me. You might deny me my license, but I will win in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So they said, okay, Jacqueline, bet.
What a woman.
Say Bet. One thing that can beat your ghost is bureaucracy.
It's just one letter from the IRS. Bet.
Bet.
On letterhead and everything.
As of November 18th of this year, her license has been denied. So as of November 30th of this year, the Conjuring House is no longer licensed to keep entertaining as a venue.
So 5 days from now. That's like Friday, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So by the time this is posted, the Conjuring House will no longer have a valid license to be doing tours or conducting business.
Giving Black Friday a new meaning.
That being said, once again, I am going to remind you that we ask you don't harass any of these people. That also means do not go on the Conjuring property without explicit permission. It is not legal, but also if you do not have a tour there, do not go on there.
Also,
we do not
no
condone
snogging.
that.
Do not have yourself a good
You
snog.
can't snog. I'm being serious though. They do have a lot of issues with people going on the property without permission. Do not go on. That is trespassing. That is against the law. Do not do that. Anyway, speaking about, things not being, or things being against the law, and like, why would she need a criminal background check? Why would she care about that? Nothing's come up recently, right? In her criminal background check?
No.
Nothing would come up, right?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay, cool,
Don't
cool.
be daft.
Okay. Yeah. Do you know of anything, Joan?
Yeah. Somewhere in these notes, I will find it. Hold on.
She was arrested at the end of October.
Oh, yeah, she was arrested. For a DUI. Oh.
Well, Joan, what was one of the rules on her website?
It was not to drink any alcohol.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, Jason has been very vocal on Facebook and shared a body cam footage of her arrest for the DUI. 'Cause Jason Hawes has been very nice through this, but also a little shady, Jason. Like, if we're being, like, between us girls, a little shady. So,
If
and
you
had
did
the
try to
caption
say
of,
that he
quote,
tried to assassinate her, I'd be shady too.
Yeah.
but, like, what's an assassination amongst friends?
Yeah. What's an assassination amongst consenting adults, at least?
If you guys try to assassinate me, I wouldn't even be
Can't
mad.
consent in the
At
house.
this point. After
Yeah.
this
In the house.
episode,
That's true.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
even be mad.
Yeah. So he says, quote, I've seen the body cam footage and it's amazing. No one was hurt or killed. She needs help. The state should step in and help her get it. And under the post, someone asks if she was unwell before the house messed with her. And he replies, quote, yes, she did have issues prior, but she's unchecked these days and feels all her actions are justified. She claims that she is the Messiah. This has nothing to do with the house and everything to do with an unwell individual that drinks. I will also say that there has been a lot of people asking, is it the house that's doing this to her? I have my own feelings about this. If we want to keep it paranormal and fun, I could leave that question up to you. I will say that through my notes, I have found one man named John Huntington who lived at the Conjuring House, which, by the way, I dyslexic this so hard. I kept writing THC instead of TCH. I'm so sorry, Kay. I looked at it and I wrote it down too.
I'm not sorry at all, actually.
No, I kept looking at it. I'm like, why did I write it like that? Anyway, so he lived there during COVID lockdown and claimed he heard voices in his head and felt depressed and lost a lot of friendships and was actually got so bad that like people asked him to leave. And he claims that the house is the reason for this decline in his mental health.
My word.
That being said, and he was like saying that like maybe Jacqueline's facing the same thing. I will caveat this with some realness. A lot of us faced mental illness that we did not expect to face during the COVID lockdowns. This man described a lot of feelings of isolation. A lot of us had similar claims. I'm not saying what he felt was or was not paranormal. I'm just saying a lot of us felt that. That being said, in a more recent video, after you actually watched the bird video that I talked about, where she was talking to the bird, he was like, I don't think that's ghosts. I do think that might be something different. I think that might be a little bit of mental illness.
Yeah.
Which is not a problem to have. I follow the philosophy personally, and I'm not speaking for anyone else here. I follow the philosophy that mental illness is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. So deal with that accordingly.
I will also mention that prior to Jacqueline buying the property, the previous owners did write it into the contract that nobody from that point forward was going to be allowed to live at the Conjuring House full time just because of the house's effects. So Jacqueline would not be allowed to live there more than 1 week a month. So that is a little something. I'm not saying that the house did do this. That is kind of something interesting to think about, and I think you should put in the comments if you think this is the house or if it's her.
Is
Let us
there
know if it's
Sorry.
the house or if she's off her trolley. Sorry, Maria, go ahead.
is there any record of her personality or behaviors before she bought the house?
There is one, and it's from when she was a volleyball coach in the late 1990s, and she was moved to an administrative position rather than as an assistant head coach, just because there were allegations of verbal abuse towards the players, as well as forcing them to practice while injured, things like that. So it seems that there's a little bit of a history of not treating people underneath her as well as she should. But as
She was
far
a
as
normal 90s coach.
as far as some of the stuff that she's writing now, some of the stuff that's come out this year, I don't think anybody really saw this level. Some of the stuff in these texts are concerning.
I will also say, so like not trying to get too far into the Warrens. The Warrens were kind of the ones who pushed the idea that these spirits were demons, or were something evil. Other people have not had that same feeling. Even Cody and Satori came out and were like, the spirits there do not seem as scary as they have been made out to be. John Arnold was not supposed to be a scary dude. So if John Arnold is speaking to her this way and he's like, hey, Brian's doing some petty theft, and also you're the Messiah. It's also concerning, as I mentioned before, the repeated phrases. I don't believe that is something that typically happens during possessions, or what you would like to usually call possessions. I'm sure repeating other things, like curses, sure, but I don't think saying strong letter to follow is typically in the nomenclature of the demon. So, but yeah.
Might have just been her signature line in her messaging.
Oh, that's fun. Maybe I'll do that at work. On my emails. Strong letter to follow.
Strong letter to follow.
If somebody got a hold of her iPhone and she didn't notice, she sent 100 messages like that before.
Colin, don't say that. There has been a lot of her claiming people have hacked her. One of Brian actually not getting paid is that her Venmo must have got, or like she made everybody like put information like their social security numbers and like their bank routing for direct deposit in this like app, and then everyone else got paid except for Brian, and Brian's like, yo, what's up with that? And she's like, oh, someone must have hacked my phone and stolen your information and like deleted it off of my phone. Here's a check. She just wrote him a personal check, and he was like, wait, someone has my information? She goes, maybe.
This is no big deal.
Maybe.
So
yeah.
I will ask real quick, just because we are hitting about an hour right now. Do you guys want to go into oh gosh, I can't talk. Do you want to go into final thoughts and close it out? Or do you want to hear some of the texts that she sent?
Text.
Definitely want to hear the text.
Yeah.
Spill.
Down the rabbit hole.
Okay, I will read a couple, and then we can go ahead and go into final thoughts. So we mentioned the assassination. So she brings this up actually in a text to Jason. And this is what she says, quote, "I am told that facial recognition software was used to determine that it was you. That will be up to your defense team to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you and others have not committed thousands of crimes against me and other innocent people who, like me, did nothing to harm you or your fellow assassins trained under a terrorist interrogation tactical handbook. So I have been told by numerous sources." Yeah, so he's got a whole friends list full of assassins. And she said, "Now I will take a snapshot of this final text exchange, and the evidence will lead to a just result over time. I will not stop posting as I am instructed to do to inform the public on very important matters facing our country and other countries. Send this last text exchange to your defense attorney if you can find one. Fuck you. Strong letter to follow."
I feel like she's related to my mom.
Frank!
That's some shit Mrs. Barrientos would say, just saying.
Yep. One of the things that she says, let me just go ahead and back up here. So Jason mentions before this entire conversation that they have together that she sent him some messages that were so disgusting that he will not read them, he will not post them, and he actually turned them over to the police and filed paperwork with them because of what she said in these letters or these text messages. So we don't have any of those. But she ends up like texting him out of the blue, and she says, "I'm told that it is you that continues to fuck with my life. How does a high school graduate, plumber, and has-been paranormal celebrity think that somehow he has all of this power, or even the legal right to do it? That is interesting. I am told that you are using black magic. If true, the thing about black magic, Jason, it always demands its unjust returns. When you make a deal with demons, they always want your life in return. I read that in a scholarly article about the 52 demons who influence people to do and incite terrible things to happen to humanity, animals, and our environment." And then she follows it up with receipts. She has her sources cited when she says that.
She gave him homework.
So he replies, "You have some serious issues. You've decided to attack me time and time again. I have been understanding. Your last texts to me have changed that, the ones that he will not read. I promise you I'm not the guy you want to push any further, Jacqueline." And she replies, "Fuck you. Strong letter to follow." "I know everything, including you showing up at 2:30 a.m. to kill me. I am not in the least bit afraid of you. Get an effing line, Jason. I am being assured that you will be prosecuted. Keep it up, because the counts on attempted murder are still ticking up."
I kind of want a t-shirt that says "Strong letter to follow."
Yeah, that's a great t-shirt.
It would be good.
Yep. She
Late
just
Night Legends merch.
In
We're gonna
that
have a talk, Colin.
in that same text message, which is very long, I had to scroll 3 times to get to the end of it. She ends it with, "At some point, Rhode Island and the township of Burrillville will act to bring you to justice. Once again, fuck you. Strong letter to follow. Jason fucking House." And she spells
Why,
his last name
never.
wrong.
Yeah, that's not his name. And if all of you are like, "This is so stinking silly. You guys are so silly. Why are you talking about this?" It's not silly enough for the Rhode Island local news to not cover several times. This has been on Rhode Island local news several times, where a man had to explain multiple times that my former employer is not paying me because a ghost told her I stole. So, yeah.
The one
Please
last
leave
thing.
Sorry, I was
Go
going to say,
ahead,
please leave your
Frank.
thoughts and comments in the comments below the video. Let us know what you think.
Yes, I would also like to supplement that by saying if you're interested in hearing more of the drama, because I mean we could talk for hours about this, and some of the other stuff that's been posted, let us know.
Or if you want to if there is a gossipy topic within the paranormal community that you want us to look into, we would also love to do that. We'd love to have another tea party with
Or
everybody.
if you'd like to just share your personal gossip in our comments, we'll read them aloud.
But
a
change
later date.
names. Change names.
I was
No.
going to say real names mandatory.
Real first and last names.
Yep. Social security numbers, bank
If you have 'em.
info.
You will
follow
also
with a
get
strong
social
letter.
point.
Yes.
Yeah.
strong
Well, I was gonna
letters
say
must
you'll
follow.
get social points with us if you comment comment your comment and then end it with "fuck you." Follow this
Strong letter to follow.
Strong letter to follow. But don't
Yes.
actually write "fuck you" because I don't want your comments to like get suppressed. So
That's
just say
true.
"f you."
Say fudge.
Yeah, fudge you. Strong letter to follow.
This episode will also be posted after Thanksgiving, so maybe give us like your Thanksgiving drama tea.
Ooh.
Oh, if you
that's a good
guys have
idea.
Thanksgiving, your family comes over, we want to hear about what happened.
We do.
Yeah. So that being said, let's actually go around and do some quick final thoughts. We'll end with Frank. So who would like to go first?
I'll go first. It sounds like she is, to put it mildly, just way off her rocker. It sounds like getting help from the state is probably the best thing for her, but it seems like it's slow coming. It's kind of actually a little bit sad that nobody stepped in and tried to help her beforehand, but
She has been taken in a couple of times, to do check-ins and they like take her for whatever those
Okay.
but
yeah, like evaluation.
but as far as I understand that if people, from what I understand, mind you, and I've never been in this, I've never had to experience it. If you are not in immediate danger to yourself or somebody else, they have to let you go.
That's true, I guess.
They can't keep you. So if she's not showing immediate danger to herself or somebody else, to be honest, when I was following this, because it's been going on for months, I was a little relieved she got a DUI with no one getting hurt, because I thought maybe that would open some avenues to her getting help. Because overall, I think like this is a person struggling, and I would love if this person got help.
You're like, oh my God, a DUI, thank God.
Not like thank God, but I was like, maybe this will be something where they're like, oh, she's a danger to others, so she needs to get help. But yeah, not to interrupt your final thought, Colin, but yeah.
No, that segued nicely from it. That's more or less where I was going with it. So no, thank you, actually.
You're welcome. Who would like to go next?
I can go. I don't know. I think this is very messy with like all of the people involved. It's kind of sad that like they had to go through all of that for no pay, basically. And yeah, I don't know. Like it's kind of hard to deal with someone like that because there's proof being shown to her, and then she still says, "No, you're wrong. I'm right." So it's kind of hard to like get through to someone that just, relentless.
Yeah.
So hopefully she does get the help that she needs.
Tim?
Crazy story, but it's fun to follow. Even with a strong letter to follow. But really wish you had sold the house to Matt Rife, because if he would have bought it, the place would probably be a lot more fun. At least funny.
And then I will go. Sorry, I was looking at something. Yes. So, as I mentioned before, I don't think these are ghosts. I don't think these are demons. I think this is someone suffering from a mental health issue, and I really hope that she can find the help that she needs, so that she no longer struggles and suffers, and that no one around her struggles and suffers. That really sucks. We did have some gags. We had some laughs because it's a very silly thing. This is just silly overall. And even though, yes, as like Maria said, it sucks, but it is silly. And then, as I mentioned before, I'll leave with the message of like, mental health is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. So take care of yourselves.
I would just like to reiterate again that everything in this video is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. And kind of the same thing as what Joan said. We kind of made light and joked just because some of the things that were said were so kind of out there and absurd. But mental health is not a joke. And if you are suffering from anything, don't hesitate to reach out to family, loved ones, friends, or professionals if you need it. So take care of yourself. And I really do hope that Jacqueline gets the help that she needs. And I hope that eventually the people that worked for the Conjuring House can get some closure. I'm sure that they need it. And maybe we'll do a follow-up when we hear what the outcome of all of this stuff is. But yeah, thanks for gossiping with us.
I will close it up, and I think everybody's gone, yeah? Thank you for joining us tonight. I'd like to personally apologize to the entire European Union. I butchered many an accent.
The UK's not, or England's not in the European Union anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
sorry to England. Sorry to Scotland. I'm sorry that I offended anybody else.
The
but
Welsh
please,
too.
Yeah. Did
but
you
please,
forget?
if you'd like to pay us for me to talk like that, please subscribe to our Patreon, or in lieu of that, please hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up for, give us a strong follow. Outside of that, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for telling a friend. We hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and we will see you next time in 2025. I believe is the next time. You might have an episode to watch on New Year's Day. That's the goal. So we'll see you then.
That would still be
Until then.
2025, but yeah.
Take care of yourselves. Take care. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye.